and that was the end of training for the evening. And that was my first introduction to Rothenberger.
That was you. Hello and welcome to Rothenberger's Pipe Up podcast. We've got a special guest today, Paul Bulliavant, who is the Commercial Director of Howarth Timber. Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Been a little bit influencer or ambassador heavy, so we thought we'd actually branch out a little bit. So it's fantastic to see you here. So Paul does his own podcast Howarth Timber do their own podcast, where Paul is the host. So at some stage, Paul will probably want to take over and do it properly. So my first introduction to yourself was through Twitter about 8 or 9 years ago.
Was it really?
Yeah, and it was sport, nothing to do with plumbing, heating, building, whatever. So how did you get here? Not just here. How did you get here with Howarth, and how did you get all the way to podcasting from back in the day?
Back there, okay. What do you want to do? Go right back to the
right
start?
Back to when you first come into the industry.
So I fluked my way into the industry.
Of course.
And based on all the podcasts we've done, it seems like everybody's fluked their way into the industry.
Yeah.
And 18, I did my A-levels, didn't know what I wanted to do, was never really cut out for university, so I didn't get any grades. And I was looking for a job, and the only thing I could see myself doing was going working for my dad, who got his own fishing tackle business.
Right, okay.
Clearly my dad didn't want me to work with him, so he applied for me for a management training scheme for a company called Jackson Building Centres.
Yeah.
Well, it was Jackson Shipley at the time, based in Lincoln. And Jacksons were, at the time, probably the biggest and probably the best well-known independent builders merchants in the country.
They still call it Jacksons now,
yeah,
don't they?
even though it's
even
moved
though
on
it's
a couple of times.
Yeah.
So my dad actually applied for the job for me, based on the fact that the previous year he'd finished building a house for us. He'd done a self-build.
Right.
I knew the reputations of Jackson. So anyway, he applied for this role for me, and I remember going away on holiday after my A-levels with all my mates. Dad came and picked me up from Luton Airport at like 1 o'clock in the morning and said, "Right, we better be quick. You've got an interview at 9 o'clock in Lincoln." So literally, it was back home, a couple of hours sleep, and then go for an interview. And I was lucky enough to get that position. Yeah. And I just ended up loving the industry. Worked my way through Jackson's. Must have done every role there is in a builder's merchant. Yeah. Started in the warehouse, sales counter, which is where I first came across Rothenberger.
Yeah.
Quick sidetrack, if you may. I'll
Yeah,
tell you a
please do.
Rothenberger story. So
yeah, please do.
We used to do a lot of after-hours training.
Yeah.
And at the time, we would buy our Rothenberg. So I was in the plumbing department. Yeah. And we would buy our Rothenberg stuff from Lincoln pipe tool specialists,
right? Okay.
Rather than dealing direct.
Okay.
And Guy, I've tried to think of his name, and I can't remember. It came and was doing a demo for us, and he was showing us how to pipe thread. Yeah. On a big threading machine. And he was doing this demo. He'd obviously got oil on the floor. Yeah. Ended up walking around the machine, slipped, and cracked his head, fell over, cracked his head on the pipe threader, which is a big solid piece of equipment. Yeah. Ended up gashing his eye, and that was the end of training for the evening. And that was my first introduction to Rothenberger.
That was, we were a bit more health and safety conscious.
Yeah, no, there wasn't any health and safety back at
exactly. But how long ago was that?
I joined, it was like, I'd been 18, so it was 1986 when I started joining. So it'd been my first year or two, so it'd be 86, 80, 87. Right. Anyway, I ended up working my way through Jackson's. Ended up being branch manager at Chesterfield. Did that for, 10, 12 years. And eventually got promotion to be commercial manager, then commercial director. Yeah. Then Grafton bought Jackson's. Jackson's eventually became build base. I moved into Grafton. Yeah. Then on to plumb base. So we did a lot of Rothenberger.
Yeah,
then when I worked in plumb base as commercial director. I got made redundant in a reshuffle, as you see in some of the nationals from time to time, and then ended up kind of back at my roots, back at a mixed builders merchants at Howarth Timber. Joined there in 2018. So I've been there for 8 years.
Wow.
I'm the commercial director, so my role is to look after the buying team, the marketing team, and e-commerce. And we're do you want the history of Howarth Timber?
Oh, absolutely, because this is what I was going to say. So 1840, your podcast, so I'm sure that's something to do with Howarth Timber, so please do.
We were founded in 1840
by
a guy called William Hudson. He set up as a timber merchant in Leeds. So we've been going since 1840. Eventually, the Howarth family got involved in the business, and we've got a couple of history books of the.
So it wasn't Howarth at the start. Interesting.
No, it was Hudson and Co. was the business. And it's a really. We've got a couple of books that tell the history, and there's parts of it that you could see there being a Netflix period
drama over it,
which is really interesting. And then kind of 1959, Peter Howarth took over the business and really started forming it into the business that it is today. We're now run by two brothers, Nick Howarth and Andrew Howarth, and they've got their family coming through, so the next generation's coming through, which is good for us all. There's continuity there. We're a mixed merchant, as timber in the name. Timbers are kind of heartbeat. It's where we came from, where we started. We've 36 branches across the country, predominantly in Yorkshire and Lancashire. If you drew a circle an hour and a half around Leeds, then that would cover probably 80-90% of our branches, and then we've got some coming further down south. So we're in Kettering today. We've got a branch in Corby. Got one in Bury St Edmunds, and then 3 in London. Fully mixed. So we do plumbing and heating. We do bathrooms and kitchens, timber obviously, and building materials.
And which bit of that is timber's the bread and butter, as you say, but are you finding from our point of view, from the plumbing and heating, is it been lucrative for Howarth, or is it just a need?
No, it's been an interesting journey, as you'll see when you deal with builders merchants who do plumbing and heating. We've got 16 of our 36 branches we classify as full plumbing and heating branches. So they'll have a plumbing and heating department with 1 or 2 staff and their own vehicle. In the other branches, we do all the basics, stuff that a plumber would need. We'd keep away from gas, but waste, plastics, basic plumbing fittings would be available in all branches. We started that journey, 12, 13 years ago, from a standing start. And Nick Howarth had identified that if we wanted to be a one-stop shop, we needed to branch out a bit from building and timber, and it was obvious plumbing and heating was to go in. So we brought John Houston, who was quite well known in the industry. We brought him into the business to set it up. John had got a background with nationals. He worked at Plumvale, I think he worked at PTS, so he got a really good understanding, and he was brought in. And he's ploughed that lonely furrow for many years to establish plumbing and heating into a builder's merchant. We're part of the Fortis buying group, which is really important, because without being part of a buying group, we wouldn't have the volume to be able to buy the right products and have all the right supplies.
Isn't it, behind it?
Totally. So between Fortis and John coming in and driving it, we've established ourselves to be a good supplier of plumbing and heating in the areas that we have got our specialist branches in. Probably makes up 10% of our turnover, and it plays a full part in the business for our customers who want one-stop shop.
And that's what I was just going to say, the one-stop shop business where you've got everything. If your guy or your builder or your plumber comes in, I also need a block of wood, or I just, I need some 15mm pipe. you've got everything.
That's
They haven't got to then go over to
the other side of town
the other side of
to
town.
get the building materials.
to get a meter or a pipe.
I think you'll hear that from any of the mixed builders merchants that you deal with. That's really our niche. It's for that customer who wants everything in one place. And I think, you know, nowadays with change of building regulations and renewables becoming more and more to the fore, it's important that we have the heating options for our building customers who need to hit their building regs, and if they need heating equipment as well as a fabric first approach, then we're nicely set to be able to crack on and help with all of that.
So the air source heat pump, is that with Howarth? Because I've been out of the game a little bit. I haven't really been around regions. I've spoke to some people. Are you grasping it at Howarth, or is it? Because some of our guys are ambassadors, if you like, they are a bit, you know.
Yeah, it's a tricky. It's a tricky one.
Yeah.
A lot of it is legislation and regulation driven.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it. I mean, obviously, there's all this talk of boilers eventually being phased out and everybody moving on to renewables.
Yeah.
I think that will be a challenging time purely because of the cost. So a boiler might be £1,000, a heat pump's $4 or $5 grand. There's a big difference. But I think where we get the head start, and I mean we, the builders merchants industry, is that a lot of it is driven by our builders.
Of course.
So our builders in order to hit the building regs and Part L, when they're having the plans drawn up for their houses or their sites, they're having renewables as part of that offering.
Yeah.
So quite often we're getting asked for it, approached for it, and it's our job just to give a solution.
And the guys have got they can't argue if the building regulations are saying we need this or want this. What about in houses what are already there? Have you had much call as far as you're aware of? You know, 'cause obviously the big builders, they have to, if you like, but because it's all about specification, isn't it? You can't have a little thing this in a huge room, and that's where a lot of people say, oh, it don't work, and it's because it's been spec'd wrong.
Yeah, well, interestingly, a couple of weeks ago, we just recorded a podcast episode, myth busting on air source heat pumps.
Okay. Excellent.
With Tim Whitehead of Tuplins and Jim Stafford.
Yeah.
And that was one of the myths that we asked them to bust.
Yeah.
Can you retrofit air source heat pumps in existing properties?
Yeah.
And the answer is yes, of course you can, but not in every circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
It's like anything with new technology. You have to see you have to get the right advice to do the right specifying. And when it comes to an air source heat pump in a retrofit situation, there's two things you've really got to look for.
Mm-hmm.
One is the insulation properties of the house, and the second is the size of the heat emitters. So it works on lower water temperature than a boiler would do. So you need bigger heat emitters, so it's bigger radiators, or maybe even underfloor heating. It depends what project's going on. So yes, you can retrofit, but you're not getting a lot of people knocking on your door saying, I want to take my gas boiler out and I want to put an air source heat pump in. There's government funding available that makes it not as expensive as people first think. But as with anything with the government, it's not always easy to be able to access those grants. You've got a lot of hoops that you need to jump through. So it does put a lot of people off, but it's definitely available, it's definitely doable. And like anything, it's just for an end user who wanted to retrofit, it's find the right installer who knows how to access the grants and whatever and then suddenly it becomes doable.
It's just like with combi boilers back in the day. Actually, I think one of our podcast guests mentioned it. Combi boilers were, oh God, and then all of a sudden, you've got to have the right boiler for the right house or the size of the boiler, and it's exactly the same with air source heat pump. I went on a training course just to get. I was embarrassed because I was the product and training manager at Rothenberger, and I didn't have a clue about refrigeration stuff. So it's quite nice with a customer over in Leicester. They said, well, we've got our renewables business. Do you want to come and sit in? Fantastic. It was so good to hear. Then I went to Germany and did the same, and luckily everybody's on the same page. Brilliant. And it is. It's just that like anything, you've just got to get used to it.
That's right.
And they're going to have to.
Yeah.
I think eventually, not yet.
Well, I think registration, regulation, and government will force the issue, and at some point it will become the norm. It will become the combi boiler.
Yeah.
But like anything, there's lots of myth out there. There's lots of bad advice. There's lots of horror. You only hear the horror stories, don't you, where somebody's retrofitted and it's gone wrong.
Yeah.
But I think just over time it'll settle down. It will become the norm.
Yeah.
And all we try and do as a builders merchant is say, look, we're not the air source heat pump specialists. But we've got plenty of suppliers who will work with us to help you. So if you bring a situation to us, we'll work with our suppliers to get you the right solution.
And obviously it's in the interest of the supplier, in the interest of you, obviously for the customer. So that's the thing where I find with an independent like yourselves, if somebody's, I need to know a bit about this, if it's an independent and they feel a little bit more involved in the business, they won't just go, oh no, we don't do that. And it will happen in places because a 9 to 5, or I don't know anything about. Do you want some copper? So I do think that if everybody works together, we have it with press tools and stuff like that, where people are asking us, and you do think at the time, you think, oh, for God's sake, why don't you know about this? I've already told you this. You think, no, they're busy. They've got other things to do as well. Like us with everything, you don't get everything going in there, do you? You just don't. You can't. With the amount of stuff you guys have to do, we're just a manufacturer of products, a lot of products, but whereas you guys, you've got to deal with plumbing, like say timber, build, plasterboard, everything, anything and everything. It must be difficult.
We use that to play into our advantage, that we can give that one solution. Just you, I'm not trying to take over podcast host.
Please do.
Please do.
Oh, absolutely.
Surely you're not getting asked lots and lots of questions anymore about press. Isn't that now like it's
gone crazy. You still get, so for instance at Tool Fair, I was at Tool Fair in Exeter a couple of weeks ago, and people coming up and they see it, and you still get people even now go, do you think that'll ever take off?
Really?
Honestly, it is just, I'm like, ever? And I'll start saying to people, no, I shouldn't have thought so, and stuff like that, because we sell, God knows how many, off the top of my head, but a lot of press tools, and we are not the only manufacturer, even though we are the best. Sorry, I had to get that in just for but we are selling hundreds. I'd like to know from when it first started, because when I started with Rothenberger, so getting on for 9 years ago, I remember having a press tool on a demo table with the guy who I think it probably was who slipped in the oil, Colin Coleman maybe, because he was with the business 36 years when I joined, and he was the man, so it wouldn't surprise me. But he used to have it on there, and he'd be talking about it, and I'd be like, wow, that is incredible. But people would say, how much? At the time, £1,000. Oh, God. And they didn't realise quite as the initial outlay.
Yeah.
But now, I'd love to know what the percentages, actually. We could find out here what we sell, but just in general, where plumbers, they've still got to do both with soldering and stuff, but press, and in the merchants as well, I dare say you've got press fittings in your plumbing.
Well, even, when I guess things do move quick. I remember as I finished at Plumbase, that'd be like 2016, 2017, press was really starting to become more and more talked about. And I remember all the guys who were on Twitter at that point, where there was that whole plumbers push onto social media. Yeah. That was all talk of press.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, to now, where even in the builders merchants, we stock press in a lot of our plumbing departments. Yeah. I guess that just shows the growth of it.
How it's, and I can't see that stopping either, or not stopping, but slowing down, I should say.
But seriously, at the tool shows, you still get asked, what's this all about?
Absolutely. In fact, a little story about Howarth Timber. I remember when I was doing a demonstration at Scunthorpe branch, I think it was, and there's a young lad on the counter at the time. I think he's moved on, but his name was Owen.
Owen, yeah, that's it.
Nice lad. And he, this guy come in and he said to me, right, he says, Owen has said to come and speak to you. I was like, oh, okay. And he says, he's promised me you won't do my insert bleep here heading. And I was like, oh, thank you very much. And then he says he's told me to have a look at one of these things. I went, okay. And I said, and he says, I'm not going to buy one. And I thought, oh my word, I don't know
a
where
good
to
start.
Yeah. So he says, I'm not going to buy one. So me being me, I'm like, okay, so do you want me to show you or not? I don't mind either way, but I'm getting mixed sort of messages. And he went, no, go on. And I showed him 3 seconds, and he goes, is that it? I went, yeah. And his missus, who was thinking working with him, he says, well, I've got to have one of these. So 40 seconds earlier,
He said no chance.
and then within an hour later on, Owen told me, yeah, he's just phoned one and ordered one.
Nice.
And it is just, it's the, you don't need all this is a lot of our stuff we use every day. I probably shouldn't say it on a podcast, but it's like, a lot of the stuff you're not needing anymore, and more importantly, the hot works permits and things like that. It's incredible. So it soon comes in and out, and you speak to a lot of people who now still say, I think this is amazing. I was never took by it, never took. But now what takes me 3 hours used to take me 2 days. I'm like, yeah, and you haven't got to wait around.
No.
This is, God, I'm going on about press now. But yeah, so I'm quite sort of passionate. If I was to go back on the tools,
That's what you'd be on with.
absolutely. And obviously, Rothenberger sold the guns. I'm joking. I can't help myself.
I didn't realise there was meant to be so much advertising that was going on here.
It's just naturally happened. I can't help it.
Let's talk wood. So if you want wood.
This is what I love. So actually, that's a really good segue into podcast and things.
I was just
like
going to say,
yeah, go on.
back over to you now. Get it back on track.
Yeah. 1840 podcast. Was it your brainchild, or was it?
Well, the name wasn't. The name was a team effort. Mm-hmm. So our story was, there's myself, there's Gavin Knowles, who's our head of marketing, and Steve Hudson, who's our main designer. Mm-hmm. We would often be nattering, just generally, do over a cup of tea or something.
Yeah.
And over a period of, I don't know what it would be, I keep saying 12, 18 months, over a reasonable period of time, I kept saying to them, I'd love to do a podcast. Yeah. So I'm a big podcast listener.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'd have heard something and I'd say, I'd love to do a podcast, but I don't know what I would do it. And
will they listen?
I'd be willing to listen. Yeah. I'm not an expert in anything, so I don't know. And I don't know whether we've got the balls to do something. And we just chat about it and then put it down and forget about it. And then a few months later, I'd say, I've heard this great podcast. I'd love to do a podcast, and it's not for us, and we couldn't do it, and we'd leave it, and then I'd come back again. I really would love to do a podcast. I think they were getting pig sick of me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And I'm a massive believer in fate, and fate struck.
Right. Okay.
And there's a guy called Dave Stankler who works in the radio industry.
Right.
And we'd known Dave for years and years. We used to work with him, 8-10 years ago, on a music festival in Harrogate that we used to sponsor.
Right.
And we'd work with him anyway. We'd stopped. I think it had stopped, or we'd stopped sponsoring. So we'd all gone our separate ways. Then randomly out of the blue, Dave had dropped Gavin an email to say, I've just started work with a guy called Dave Eason, who runs and just setting up the Yorkshire Podcast Studios. Have you ever thought of a podcast?
Oh wow!
Well, Gav sent me the email, and I was like, "This is it. This is the time." So we started the conversation again. I'd love to do a podcast, but nobody's going to be interested in builders merchanting, and I don't know anything personally that there aren't a million podcasts for. So what? Why? And we're just a builders merchants. We can't do a podcast. But I couldn't let it drop, so I said, let's just out of interest go and have a look at the studio. So we went and met Dave, and Dave's top notch. And the studios they've got are amazing.
Right.
So we went, and I literally walked into the studio, and I was like, this is dream time.
I want to do this.
This really is just dream time. So we met with Dave. I had a really good natter about it, but I'm still thinking, no, he can't do this.
No,
there isn't anybody who's going to be interested in listening about a blooming builders merchant.
Yeah,
It has to be like the dullest, unless you're into building.
Yeah, if you're a big fan of building.
It's really
yeah,
not.
Yeah,
It's that niche that it's just ridiculous. But we came away like blown away, and David obviously seen that we were interested and needed to knock us over the line.
Right.
And he said, if you are serious, have a talk to Alex McMahon of Adept Contracting Services. Yeah. So Adept Contracting Services do security and corporate cleaning, office cleaning, and they had a problem where they employ hundreds of people, but by the very nature of it, they're scattered all over Yorkshire and Lancashire where they focus, and they just struggle to communicate to them because people work in shifts, and it's impossible to do it with email and whatever. And they needed to come, so they decided that they're going to do it via a podcast. Right. And I thought, well, that's interesting. And again, fate took hold here, because a month or two before, the results of our staff engagement survey had come in, and the big thing that was flagged up was we don't communicate well enough, and people want to know more about what's going on in the wider business. So, like, Dave Stankler sent us this email to say, would you be interested? We've been and had a look. Dave's told us about Alex at Adept. They'd set a podcast up to communicate internally. Oh, the stars were beginning to align. So he put us in touch with Alex, and Alex is the reason we got knocked over the line. Yeah. Because Alex, just a normal dude. I'd had no training. I just picked it up and run with it, and had put together this really nice podcast talking about their business and whatever they were going to talk about. And I mean this with all due respect, Alex, when I say this next week. I thought, if Alex can do it, and there's enough content around office cleaning and the security world, we must be able to do it ourselves. And so we went back and started the same conversation. I'd love to do a podcast, but we can't do a podcast. What can we talk about? And then Gav and Steve reminded me of something that I bang on to all my team about, and it's out of James Clear's book Atomic Habits. Right. So it's really. Have you heard of the book?
Oh no.
It's a really it's been in the
Atomic Habits.
Yeah, and it's about how do you stop bad habits and how do you embed good habits. You're showing yourself up here because it's really, really famous. Loads of podcasts. Really? It's been in the bestsellers charts for forever. Yeah. And I really like the book, but there's one bit that I constantly bang on to my team about, and it's a thing called action versus motion. Yeah. So, action is when you go and do something. Yeah. You get off your arse and you actually go and do it. Yeah. Motion is just talking about it and planning it, making you think you're doing a good job and you've been really busy and you're doing stuff. Well, actually, you're not doing stuff. All you're blooming doing is talking
about doing stuff.
And the action thing is, don't sit there talking about it, trying to perfect everything to get it 100% right, because you'll never, ever, ever get there. The key is, start the bloody thing.
Give it a go.
And learn on the...
You mentioned earlier to us guys about releasing these.
Yeah, just learn on the hoof. Just do it. Yeah. And just get over the fear of failure, because as humans, we're hardwired to not want to fail. So therefore we'll think of a million reasons not to start things for fear of failure. Yeah. And James Clear says, no, get on with it, start it, make it happen. And Gav and Steve, with a smile on their face, said, you're constantly banging on to us about this. Yeah. Get off your arse and make it happen. And that was really the start of it.
Brilliant.
And we were sat in our conference room in Wakefield having this discussion, the three of us, and they'd kind of thrown that challenge down to me of get up and do it, and I said, right, we're going to do it, but I'm only going to do it if you two come on the first episode with me. Well, you've never seen so many averted gazes in your, in your life. They're all looking away and I'm going, I can't talk.
Yeah.
But I managed to persuade them to. That they were the missing link in it. So they agreed to come on the first one, and that was it. Off we
went. Explaining, like you say, if they're the two first guys who got involved in it, it's great to have them as the first guys on.
Well, they probably don't realise how important they've been in this whole setting it up. So whilst I'd been the one going, I'd love to do it, they were the ones kind of humouring me. And kind of fanning the energy to do it. And then ultimately they were the ones who put the challenge down. Right, stop talking. Let's do it. And then they came on, and that was us. I think it was Steve who came up with the name. We talked about not wanting to. If we were going to talk, we didn't want to limit it just to Howarth Timber. So we didn't want Howarth Timber in the name. We wanted Howarth Timber to be associated with a brand that would allow other people to watch it. And Steve came up with the idea based on the fact that we were founded in 1840.
Perfect.
So it's a nice.
It just works.
It's a nice. It kind of works, and a bit. It's a bit like yours. It's the Pipe Up podcast from Rothenberger. So ours is the 1840 podcast.
Something to do.
From Howarth Timber.
I wanted Rothenberger radio, but then I thought, no, we're not doing radio. But then I came up with the Pipe Up podcast. No, Dan, our very talented marketing manager, come up with Pipe Up podcast, and when he told me, I thought, that's.
Yeah, it's good.
That's perfect.
Well, it follows the same thing, doesn't it? It's the association with
association, and like you say, you don't want to just talk about. This is why it's great getting people like yourself on, because it's not just an advert for this. And some people, I'm not mentioning any names, who are wanting to come on, but they're like, so what have I got to do? Just talk about your products? I'm like, no, that would be, as you say, boring unless you're in the trade or whatever. And it's so far it's worked really well, and I think watching your one, I think it's been great, and it's sort of made us get off our asses a little bit, because we've been on about doing it for, sorry to speak over the camera, but how long have you been here for now? 3 years. So our marketing team, Dan and Chandler, have been here for 3 years, and we must have been talking about doing it for a couple. But then other things happen and all that sort of thing, and then all of a sudden, and it was definitely when I saw yourself, I said, we've got to get cracking with this idea.
Had you not recorded one then?
Not by then, no.
So
no, I don't think so.
So you've got Alex McMahon to thank as well, because if we'd not had a conversation with Alex, I don't think we'd have done it.
No.
And it was just Alex and his colleagues. It was just lovely, down-to-earth, normal people making interesting content about their industry that led me to think, well, if they can, we can. So, well done, Alex. Some other podcast started all because of you. Well done, mate.
It is. It's brilliant. I think, and what you've said there, the first thing what come into my head, something I've done with my work life, especially in the last 10 years, say. But you obviously, if you listen to your podcast, law of attraction and all that. The more you banged on about wanting to do a podcast. And I genuinely do think there's something in it. The more I banged on about doing some of the stuff I do at this place, next thing you know, like, I'd love to go to Germany and see Rothenberger head office in Kalkheim, and then I'm there all the time now, sort of thing. And I always wanted to, and at the start I was, no, you ain't gonna be able to yet. And then I'm there monthly, and it does. I do believe in that sort of thing, but I won't go on the spiritual sort of thing.
But I'm interested. I'm a believer in all of that.
Yeah, well, I don't know. The secret.
Yeah.
That's
where what you reflect out into the world comes back to you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I always try and, where possible, 9 times out of 10, it's the positivity thing, and it's like people in the offices here, they go, "Why are you always in a good mood?" Well, what was there any point not being? And that's what I try and do. And I do think it comes a little bit with experience as well, because you become more confident in yourself, how you come across yourself. Like, I do obviously videos for this place, and I'd be like, rabbit in headlights at first, and then we've done live lounges where something's gone wrong, and I'm thinking, in any other walk of life, or 10 years ago, I'd have been like, oh God, can we stop the camera? But I've just laughed about it and go, oh well.
Do you still get nervous before you record these?
It depends. In fairness to you, with yourself, no, because you're always thinking, oh, are they gonna be able to?
Can you gel?
Can you gel, or can you have a chat back? Are you gonna just go, so how are you today? Fine. What? Oh God. And that's the worry. But yeah, you still always get nervous. But I think nerves are good initially. It sort of keeps your feet on the ground a little bit. Yeah.
The only bit I get nervous with is the very start.
Yeah.
So like when you started off, I could see in your eyes exactly what I feel when I do it. And you've actually got to go from just nattering to looking at the camera and going.
Yeah, it is. It's a total different sort of media. And like I say, we was talking about it, and again, big podcast fan. Again, not so much now because I'm not doing as much driving as I used to be, which was always a big thing. I'd just get through God knows how many podcasts a day. But just from a fan of it, and then I always think, is there a way of, adding value to the brand with a podcast? And I think there is. Otherwise, we just wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
But we'll soon find out.
Yeah. Well, we're the same. I mean, there's to be fair, there's mixed reception internally with it.
Yeah.
And some don't see how it benefits the business.
Yeah.
And that's fair. Not everybody likes podcasts full stop. But our methodology behind, our thinking behind it was just that constant brand building in the background. Yeah. We try not to over Howarth it, so we're not going Howarth this, Howarth that, Howarth the other, because otherwise that rules out, of course, a massive chunk of people who might want to listen to it. Mm-hmm. So we try and just work on brand association, just like you. Yeah. So it's 1840 by Howarth, like you've got that, and we try and do a mix of really builders merchant stuff. So we've done branch focuses. We've had Nick Howarth on. Yeah. We've a series of day in the life of. So we've done the plumbing managers. We've done sales execs. We've done regional managers, and we're now just starting to branch out a little bit with a bit broader content, on the basis that everybody who's listening to it are just people like you and I, and are interested in lots of different.
Have a listen to people what they've got to say.
So,
and if you say to me, "Oh, we've got a guy on next week who's big in I don't know, football," straight thing I'm going to be. I'll listen to that because I'm interested. And then it's word by mouth, isn't it? That you sort of, the only reason I got into certain podcasts back in the day was my love for boxing or MMA or whatever it was. Start listening to them, and now, I just can't not listen to them. Yeah, and you do always think, especially with this, I think, oh God, are we going to get is anybody going to watch it or listen to it or whatever? So it's a bit scary, but we're going to take on board what you've said there, and we're just going to just do it.
Well, Dave Eason, who's our producer, who's been amazing. The studios at Yorkshire Podcast Studios are top notch, and he's been a massive help to us. We've not had any training. Yeah. He's just kind of guided us. He said, "Don't worry about how many people are listening to you or looking at you. Just get and do it." Yeah. And he talks about it can take 50 to 100 episodes before you properly establish yourself, which seems a long way off. Mm-hmm. I think we've released 14 as we speak. We've got 4 recorded that are waiting to come out, and then we're trying to record a couple of times a month. And we're just starting now to spread our content. So it'll always be a good mix of builders, proper builders merchant stuff, with suppliers and roles within builders merchant in them. Yeah. And we're always looking for more builders merchant content. Yeah. But we're spreading out. So you mentioned football. Danielle Boyle, who's one of our designers in our marketing team, her brother Will plays for Wrexham.
All right.
Currently we've got Will coming on in the middle of June to talk about the Wrexham journey, and Ryan Reynolds, and Netflix, and his football career. Yeah. And he's got an interesting story because he's in the back end of his career, so he's now planning the next steps, and
so that's going to be an interesting one. I mean, and that will get lots of other viewers because Ryan Reynolds, for God's
Yeah,
sake.
that's it, yeah.
And Will Boyle, sorry.
We've asked him to bring him on, but he said no. He'll not be in the country.
He's on as that day, so yeah.
And then next week, we're recording an episode with David Campion, who was the England squash coach for 23 years. He's left that post and he's doing a raft of other things. So we've got him coming on talking about high performance and elite teams and elite individuals and some of the secrets of developing people.
It just makes so much sense. It's like you listen to, and you're now, instead of listening to people like that on podcasts, you're actually the one doing it. You can do whatever you want.
We've got to be a bit cheeky when you get an opportunity to ask. You've just got to ask and what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah. What's the sort of feedback? Well, you mentioned slightly earlier internally. Some people have been a bit, "Oh, how's that going to help?" Usually they're the glass half empty people. Sometimes, and I always try and look at the positives. Have you had positive feedback internally and externally?
Yeah. I mean, just going to that, the point about naysayers internally. One of my old bosses used to say to me, in any group situation, you can always split that group into thirds. Yeah. Right. There'll be a third who won't like it. There'll be a third who love it. Yeah. And there'll be a third who drift about in the middle. Yeah. So all you've got to focus on is winning over that middle third. Yeah. Because you'll never win the bottom third. And I try and apply that to everything. So when there's a group of people who don't see the benefits of it, I think that's fine. Yeah. Because there's always going to be a third who don't like it. So there's no shock to it.
You're not going to change
it. Just is what it is. So just crack on with it. Feedback's really good. We try and make it natural. We try and make it normal. We're not trying to be anything that we're not. So we're not trying to go, we are the experts in everything. Yeah. We just try and bring content that's of interest to people. I don't know whether we're boring people at the minute, but what we try and do, anybody from the industry, we try and get the life stories. Yeah. So tell the story about how you ended up,
of course,
in the industry, and why you like it, and what you do. So maybe we'll have to come up with something new, because there's only so many stories you can tell about. It was fate that brought me to the industry, albeit it seems that everybody came in because of because of fate. So we try and give different angles. We go back to one of the main reasons for starting it, which was internal communication. So our staff saying, we get all the emails about do this and can we do that and don't do the other, but we're interested in more of the broader stories of what's going on in the business. So we think we're fulfilling that as part of a improved communication plan. Yeah. And then we're just starting to try and mix it up now with these other related topics, just to keep it fresh. And the feedback that we're getting is it's really interesting, it's new, it's nice to see, it's nice and natural, so we don't script it, we don't over plan it. And our key has probably been, and you've said it earlier, is try and pick people who you can naturally natter to and talk to, because it is difficult if you're getting closed answers. It puts a lot of pressure on you as the host to keep the conversation moving. If not, so we've been dead lucky. That we're at that point where we've had this. There's a massive group of people that could come on, so we can pick and choose and make all the ones. But we just try and keep it natural. We don't try and be what we're not. We're not billing it as we're the technical experts in anything. We're just trying to be us. And from a marketing perspective, as the marketing team there will surely validate, it's all about putting a face to a brand. Yeah. Are they nodding? They're half nodding. They're probably talking a lot of crap, and I don't know what I'm talking about, but they're just humouring me because I'm sat here with you. So it's to bring some of the people alive within and I think within the business.
Doing what you're doing with other people as well, but internally, obviously, because I thought, obviously, doing this, we were talking about, we'll get so-and-so from there, because we're going to get one of our regional sales managers to do it.
To host it?
No, and that's another thing, because I noticed you've got somebody else doing some hosting as well.
I'd say to you,
Really?
let anybody who fancies having a go to have a go at it. That's kind of the unofficial rule that we've set.
Yeah.
Anybody who expresses any form of half interest, they're in.
Yeah.
And they're on. So we've had
guest host.
We've had 3 other hosts.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting journey. But peer pressure really plays its part. Yeah. So one of my concerns was when we started it up was that if I hosted every single one,
you've got a job to do as well. Or?
Yeah, and it becomes my podcast. It's not my podcast. It's the company's.
Exactly.
It's the company's podcast. It's the voice of the company.
Yeah.
And anybody should be able to have a voice. It was important to share it. And we're having a Christmas lunch, and Danielle was sat next to me, Danielle Boyle, and she said to me, Will you do an episode for International Women's Day in March? So this was just before Christmas.
I know where this is going.
And I went,
yeah, we will.
And she went, what?
Yeah.
I went, well, I can't do an International Women's Day episode, can I? She said, why not? I said, my man last time I checked, if it's International Women's Day, it's got to be a woman.
Yeah.
How are you fixed? And she went,
oh, I bet.
Right, I will then.
I said, that's it, challenge. I'm
going to ask you one more time.
Yeah.
Are you going to do it? And she went, yeah, of course I will. And then sat across from Daniel, a bit to my right, was Alex Maud. And Alex started laughing. And so I said, well, don't know what you're laughing at, because you're going to do one as well. And she went, right. And so before we knew it, we'd got those two. Those two.
Brilliant.
And they did it and have really enjoyed it. And Alex has recorded another one.
Some roofing.
With Restec, with Ginny from Restec. That's just come out this week.
Yeah.
And she's got another one planned. And then we've got Danielle's going to into podcast her brother Will in a couple of weeks. That was good. And then Gavin, who's our marketing manager, I said to him, well, if those two are doing them, you've got to do them.
Yeah.
So he's done 2.
Yeah.
And then John Houston, if you're watching and listening, remember I've asked you to do one and you're a bit evasive, but I'm sure we can lock you down now that we're talking about it in public.
Yeah.
So we've got John, hopefully will come on.
Yeah. And he's like category.
So he's the category manager for Plumbing and Heating for us, and he's also a Fortis category director.
Right. That's right.
So he's well positioned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's not something we've really thought about, is it really? Because if anybody else would like to do it, but I think it'd be a really good idea to do that.
There's 2 people there looking like they really fancy an opportunity. Chandler's going yes. No?
Yeah, he's going absolutely. You want to take over now? Yeah, go on.
Come on, Chandler. No, but it is good. I mean, one of the kind of hidden benefits to all of this has been to get people to come and do something that they've never done before, that they instantly say, oh no, I can't do that.
Yeah.
But the amount of people who've had to just nudge over the line to get them on, but then as soon as they've finished, they've gone, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Can I come again and can we do it again?
There's people, I mean, one of our sales managers, Natasha, I remember I was on a demonstration event somewhere down in a region, and naturally we go, right, there's the demo table, click, we're here today, and put it on social media. And because there's 2 of us, it's a lot easier then because somebody can film. And I says, well, why don't you, I'll film you. Oh, stomach's rumbling, sorry. I'll film you. Why don't you walk in, tell us to follow you, and show us what you've got? And she's like, no. And she did it. It was brilliant. And it's just having, and then all of a sudden now we're starting to see a lot of our guys doing a bit more talking on I was going to say on set then, but talking on site, on camera, and it's great. And I, from plumbing tools, actually not even just tools, plumbing suppliers, I would say we are so visible now, and everything, even on our Instagram, we have a map of where the next demo day is going to be. Everything from start to finish, we're the most visible we've been since I've been here, and I think it can only be a good thing.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
For the good stuff. But also the bad stuff. You have to put up with the bad stuff as well. But that's it. That's what it's all about.
But don't you think doing this is much easier than doing a video straight into a camera?
Yeah,
because it's just talking, isn't it?
And that's the thing. It's like, because if you're happy to talk to people and you've actually genuinely got an interest in that person or that person's business or whatever, could do 3 hours, let alone 30 minutes, you know. Yeah. So it's good. It's good because you guys are definitely, since that, as it says on there, the embracing digital media in a big way. And I think do you think a lot of this come since COVID as well? Everybody, because we had to get out into the mainstream in particular with COVID.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing with social media now is it's almost a hygienic, isn't it? You're expected to have it.
Yeah.
I don't think you stand out by having it. You stand out by not having it.
Yeah.
And I think it's reflective of the marketing teams that are coming through. So you forget, like, I'm 57 this year. Like, I'm a bloody I am a dinosaur. And we were talking about Chandler and Ronnie Corbett. Yeah, and we were laughing, and Chandler just went blooming white because he'd never heard of him, and he had to Google who Ronnie Corbett was.
Is that him? Yeah,
and you forget that the world is changing. So in our business, we're really lucky. Our marketing team, they're all in the, they're all 25 to 35.
Yeah,
and it's just what they've been brought up with. And over the years, we've packed up using external agencies to do our marketing and our social media. We've brought it all in-house because the guys know what they're doing. Yeah, they're good at filming, they're good at recording.
Phones are brilliant now if you're just using a phone.
Yeah. They're far quicker at editing than Chandler, who seems to be getting a lot of stick today. Sorry, Chandler. And they can do all this stuff. And Chandler and Dan, they were talking about recording stuff and then turning it into shorts that you can post on whatever social media that you're on. And that from a recording like this that might be an hour, there's all kinds of content that can be brought from it. Literally. So I think it's really important, but I think it's odd if you're not doing it rather than it giving you a head start, unless you do this kind of stuff that's we're classing as innovative. Yeah. But podcasts have been around for, I don't know.
It's
20, 30 years probably.
Yeah, I remember the first thing I ever listened to was, what was it? I'll tell you what it was. It's really sad. It was The Archers, don't laugh. I say podcast, it was an update on it sort of thing. And when I was on the road a lot, guess who got into The Archers? Yeah. But it was obviously the Joe Rogan type stuff, and then he gets all sorts of people on.
I think it's probably Fight Disciples that we...
Fight Disciples. Yes, it was, absolutely. Adam Cattrall and whatnot. That was it, because I won something on there. Anyway, there's me going into boxing. So I suppose we should do a favourite tool of yours, maybe, if you've ever... Obviously, you come across the Threader. So...
Well, a Threader will always stick in my mind.
Is there anything you remember where you think, oh, bloody hell, that went well?
Like over the years, you get given the odd thing. Yeah. I've got a pair of Rothenberger grips that I just use for everything. Yeah. Hammering. Yeah. Drilling.
Don't we all?
In fact, I was using it yesterday. And yesterday, I was unblocking the bath plug. Yeah. And I couldn't unscrew the thing on it. The plug bit, so I got my grips out and did that. And then I was putting a picture frame up. Yeah. And so I got to put a picture up in the wall, and I couldn't be bothered going back outside to get hammer. So I did use my grips to knock my
plumber's hammer. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And they were given to me at some. I probably had them 15, 20 years. Really? So that's my favourite. Yeah. DIY. Rothenberger tool.
But this is the thing. It's like, that's one of the things we love hearing stuff like that, because everybody's had something. Where I remember when I was on the tools and I used to be climbing in lofts, and you needed a certain thing, and it was in the van, so you'd be like, oh, just use that. And the amount of stuff you leave in lofts, and then you find them 12 months later when you're back, and there they are. And there's that many different stories of people using, don't know. I thought, obviously, we've got a product for you. If that ever happens, give me a shout with the blockages, because there is one what is absolutely brilliant.
This was an easy clear, but it's funny. I know pump pliers. It's not an exciting what's your best tool, but if you look at these hands, look, these are not built for manual labour. These are built for pen. So I've probably have had that set of grips for 20 years, and it's my go-to. It really is me. And then the other thing I always remember was when the Superfire torch came out.
Oh yeah.
And that shows how old.
So that's 30 years ago.
Because I remember seeing the first demos when they would bring, I don't know, whatever we used to sell, and they tip it upside down and it wouldn't
still
work.
go.
And then you bring the Superfire and it
anti-flare when you got it upside down, showing that.
It, yeah. So I always remember that.
Yeah.
So I guess my three things are stitches, not my own stitches, stitches from the incident with the pipe through the Superfire, and the.
I'll find out who that was. I reckon it's got a good
it's not
chance.
From here. It was pipe tool specialists in Lincoln.
Oh,
so this is
blimey!
This would be like late 80s,
right? And did he get? Was it someone from Rothenberger who went
no,
there?
It was the guy from Lincoln Pipe Tool Specialist.
Yeah.
I wondered whether I'd get the chance to tell the story, so I was desperately trying to think back to his name, but I just can't. But it's the first time I'd seen bloodshed when I was a kid.
Did he ever come down and do his job? And
I think it killed him. Well, they were the days where just a bit of blood was nothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
There wasn't a first aid book or anything.
No,
it was just
put
a tissue on it and you'd be all right.
I remember with a previous company, you just said something there. Previous company to where I am now, I did stupidly, I hold my hands up. I was working on an electric shower and I pulled the pull cord and just trusted it, and I got and obviously it's like, Sideshow Bob in The Simpsons. And I phoned the office about something else, and she goes, "Are you okay?" And I went, "Yeah." I says, "I'm fine." I says, "Just I've had a little bit of a tickle, because this is going back probably 15 years ago, and in them days, even then, it was like it used to be just a dickhead, don't do that again." But then she says, "Oh, I better put it in the accident book and all that." And wow, I got hauled over the coals for that. But that's what. God, even now people still go, "Oh, is it still live?" How weird is it when you look at it, how health and safety is now? So
it's a different world back here. We sometimes reminisce about the old days of starting in builders merchanting and the things that went on, but
you think now
just make people's toes curls nowadays.
Yeah, nobody would have a job if some of the things what used to go on in, I don't know, warehouses. So if you ran the industry, if you had a magic wand to fix the issue, whether it be to do with supply chain or suppliers or management, anything at all, if you had a magic wand, what do you think needs sorting, and what would you like to do?
I'm going to give you a couple of answers to this one.
Okay.
My first one is self-protectionist to the builders and plumbers merchants industry.
Right.
I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah.
If I look back to 1986 when I started, and I go back in time and stand by a counter and look at the people coming in and the conversations that go on and what have you, and I do the same today, nothing has changed.
Yeah.
It's all built around people.
Yeah, of course.
It's all built about relationships. It's helping each other, the banter, the language, the crappy coffee out of crappy coffee machines. Not a lot has changed in the nearly 40 years I've worked in the industry. And there's all kinds of things that somebody looking from outside looking in at it would look at and scratch their heads and go, what's this all about? It doesn't add up. But actually, it's that keeps the merchant industry alive.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And if it was modernised and tidied up and everything, it would just open the door to the likes of Amazon or any big global logistics business to come in and totally take away
you have to,
a builder's merchant.
You have to have the personable. I still think, like, to this day, I know certain businesses, certain ones I used to work for, apparently they don't really have people going to merchants anymore. And that frightens me. I'm like, no, I still want to buy off Paul I don't want to buy off God knows who. And if I've got a problem with this, I come to you and say, hello, Paul, this is breaking. Oh, sort that. You try and do it online and everything. Obviously, some companies are going to be great at it, no doubt. But it's just having that chat on the counter. Sometimes, as from this side, from a sales rep point of view, it can be a bit difficult because you're the dreaded salesman to the end user, not the and it's having that common sense to, if you're really busy, leave you alone. If when you get, some people prefer just dropping in, some people want an appointment, and always everywhere's different. But it's just having that. I personally, it's customer service. You first and foremost sort a problem, and then that problem you might sort at a merchant you've never really done anything with. That
gives you an opportunity in the future.
Ant sorted that, so we'll.
Yeah, I always used to think it was really cliche when we talk about the industry as a people's industry.
Yeah.
But I think the older I've got, the more
And it is.
It comes back to it. And I think if we try to straighten up some of the issues,
Yeah.
it would take away from what a merchant, plumber's merchant or builder's merchant is. So I wouldn't change anything.
No.
So that we've got a long future. However, the two or three issues that I would have that is a bit more of a serious answer to your question. Getting more young people into the industry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The BMF are doing a programme about it. We've done a couple of podcast episodes, talking about it. It's not an industry that's automatically appealing to the younger generation, and we need younger people coming through.
Absolutely.
To bring change, to keep up to date with everything that's going on. So I'd try and attract more young people in. From a builder's merchant's buying perspective, I'd want to try and straighten out some of the buying agreements that we buy from. They're far too complicated with rebates and targets and whatever. It's really difficult to make sense of them, particularly at the front end for the guys who are having to trade with people.
Absolutely.
So somehow straighten that, and then the third thing is probably try and sort out the whole issue of pricing in the industry, because it's a real bugger's muddle. It's not straightforward. No. Merchants have lots of different people trying to get involved in pricing. It must drive our customers mad, the inconsistency with pricing at times.
It should be just about customer service. So if I like to shop at Howarth, or insert other one here, but if I want to shop, that it should be about the person, not it's 4 pence cheaper here than just go and drive.
But I don't think we, the industry, help ourselves.
No, absolutely.
But the pricing model has been what it's been forever. And it just makes it really complicated. It's inconsistent. Prices can be up and down, and somehow to be able to straighten it would be good. But I think every builder's merchant in the country has tried to come up with a method of straightening it out for those reasons. We did at Grafton. I know TP have. I'm sure Jewson will have done. And everybody's struggled. Everybody comes back to where we are today. And the key is in the name, isn't it? We're merchants. So it dates back to 10,000 BC when I was poling up at the port with a boat full of salt and wanting to barter with you over the fur skins that you'd got, and everything was a barter.
It really is. It's like you say, you got different. I know from somebody will phone me up and say, well, what deal are you doing for so and so? They're selling it cheaper. I'm like, I'm doing absolutely nothing. You get exactly the same, but that other business may be taking it off the rebate, or but like you say, and it blows my mind. I just think, well, if everybody's got the same, surely you want to make money as a business as well. But then I suppose if your guys are chasing a target, just like our sales managers are chasing a target, please can you give us a better price for this? Because I need that, and I think that's, and then you could argue on the merchant side, I want Brian to keep coming and back shopping with me, so I need to grab him now with a great price.
I mean, it's probably something that you can't solve. And, I'm assuming customers are used to it now because it's always been like this, and they quite enjoy the bartering and bantering that gets you to.
You do see such a lot
because
of that.
there's choice for everybody. Everybody could shop online if they if they wanted to. Particularly on the plumbing and heating side of things, there's the you can buy boilers online. You can certainly buy tools online. So if people always wanted to buy the cheapest,
Yeah.
then you could go online and find the cheapest, but they still come into merchants. So
Yeah, there's still
that's probably
where
why.
they see
Go
'em.
back to my first answer. I wouldn't change a bloody thing.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
the murk and weird things that go on in the industry
Yeah.
are the things that keep our industry alive, and
Yeah.
long may it continue.
I think that's what you've just said there. I know I've been told to wrap it up a little bit because we are just having a rattle now, which is great. But yeah, I remember being in merchants and people would come in and say, "Oh, I like that," whichever it is, and they go, "How much?" And I'd speak to the guy on the counter, "How much are you doing these for?" And then they'd just turn around and get on the phone, and then they leave. And I used to think, support, support the guy where you are who's just gone and fetched you a coffee. But I know it's just the way of the world, isn't it? So to finish up, what we sort of like to do is quick fire questions. Now with these, you'll be definitely able to tell which ones are me and which ones aren't. So we've got them on here. So quick fire questions. So one word answers, I suppose, straight away. So boxing or football?
Boxing.
Eubank Senior or Ben Senior?
They're the I'm sorry, this isn't one word, but this is boxing. It goes beyond. It goes beyond one word. They are the reason that a lot of people got into boxing.
Yeah.
Those two were just absolute heroes. If I had to go on, I'd have to decline and move on to the next question because I think they're both brilliant in their different ways.
Yeah, okay. The junior versions, Eubank Junior or Ben. I mean, they've just had a great fight. I'm very biased towards father and son of the same, if I'm honest. But this is good though because I can tell you love boxing because you're having to think about it, like rather than just go.
My problem with that question is the drugs issue.
Yeah.
I would.
You're the same as me.
If you had a gun against my head for both of those questions, I would go Ben.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
but
I know what you mean.
I'm struggling to see beyond the drugs test thing,
and I think you're not on your own there. I have because I'm biased, and because I was team Nigel Ben from day one.
But I think Junior that was an amazing performance.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Last week against somebody who was probably naturally 2-3 stone heavier than him.
Exactly. And it was, and now clean.
Yeah.
Who knows? He's been cleared, hasn't he? So I suppose.
Well, he's not been cleared. He's been cleared to box. He's not actually been cleared from.
Yeah.
The potential of the huge potential offence. But it was an amazing fight. It was an amazing note. The whole walk on, simply the best, and that when the elevator door opened and Senior walked out was just
and I loved it when people who don't sort of watch boxing all the time or whatever, and the amount of people, because I was coming back from Wembley, but I won't talk about that. I was coming back from Wembley and we was late, so we was watching it and everybody was going, "Oh God, Senior's there," and I thought, did you honestly think he was never going to be there? It's the whole story.
It was still amazing when
exactly. Okay, so these pods are probably going to be a lot quicker. Lincolnshire or Yorkshire?
Oh, Lincolnshire.
There you go.
Born and bred.
Independent or national? I suppose this is
got to be independent. That's bread and butter for me.
Yeah. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Teams meeting or in person?
Teams.
Oh, interesting.
Because it keeps them tighter.
Yeah.
And you can get more.
Yeah.
You can get more done.
Yeah, fair enough. Early bird or night owl?
Early.
Big city buzz or country calm?
Country calm.
Brainstorming sessions or alone time for ideas?
Alone time.
Business travel or in the office?
Office.
If you had to be one, athlete or a musician?
Oh. These are killers. I thought the questions that you'd sent through.
Oh, sorry, I added a load to that. I thought quick fire ones. Yeah, sorry about that. I forgot about that. Athlete or a musician? You're the same. Oh, I'm like, I think I'm athlete. But,
I want to be. I want to be a combination of Ben Stokes and Paul Weller. I want to do both.
You want to be Ben Weller. Under pressure or calm and steady?
Calm and steady.
Working from... Oh, you've done that one. Creative advertising or data analytics? That's a good one.
Who came up with that one? Was that yours?
Oh, no, I didn't come up with that.
Definitely not data analytics.
Yeah, I'm the same as you. Paul, thank you so much.
That's been amazing.
It's been brilliant.
Thank you for everything.
All the best. Thank you for watching, everybody. See you next time.